Hey, what's up? It's me, J Bat, or JDS 4696, and today I'm going to be giving my review for Batman Knightfall Volume 2. And this second volume is known as Knightquest. As you can see, it has Azrael with Jean Paul Valley on the front. And you know, Jean Paul Valley has taken up the mantle of Batman because Bruce Wayne's back was broken by the villain Bane, like like the guy that used like the steroids, like steroids, like to make himself real strong. Plus he has a masterful like intellect. He's like very intelligent as well. But he broke Batman with Bruce Wayne's back in the previous Knightfall Volume 1. He broke his back and out, and then Jean Paul Valley took over as Batman. So this is like, these are detailing the events of Jean Paul Valley as like the current Batman of Gotham City, while Bruce Wayne is still like in a recovery mode. Now, this was like very, just like the first volume. It was like very thick, as you can see, and over 600 pages, just like Knightfall was the previous one that I had did. Because this one, as you can see, had like the cover of Bane on it, where he's breaking Batman's back, as you can see. Whereas this one has Jean Paul Valley on it, the new Batman at that point. Now, the first one, like I mentioned before, was pretty good, but this second volume, which collects issues of Detective Comics 667 through 665, Shadow of the Bat 19 through 20, 24 through 28, and Batman 501 through 508, and then Catwoman 6 through 7, and then Robin issue 7. Yeah, there's also like a Robin issue here which concludes it. Now it collects all those stories, I think, which occurred over like a year, I think from like the end of 1993, if I'm not mistaken, to 1994. Now it collects all those stories, but for some reason this time, and I kind of expected that because this wasn't like the Bruce Wayne Batman, so I kind of already immediately had expected that it wasn't going to be too great, that it wasn't going to be that good or whatever. But I mean, it does like it does have like some cool like moments in it, and it's basically just like filler. You can tell like they just made like a bunch of like filler stories that occurred over all these issues like within like a year or over a year, detailing the events of this new Batman who has replaced Bruce Wayne, and he is known as Jean Paul Valley. And immediately you can tell that he's more aggressive, just like how he was kind of Knightfall, He's like very aggressive and violent. Now he still is a good and decent like Batman. He doesn't kill or anything like that, but he has like a very he's very violent. He's more violent than like the Bruce Wayne one, because he has like these projectile batarangs that he shoots and stuff, and they actually penetrate like the criminals and the enemies that he's fighting, and they bleed and stuff like that. So that is actually more violent. Than how Bruce Wayne would just like throw a batarang, like the other Batman, he would throw like just batarangs or like his bat rope or the grapple. He didn't really do anything that made it like bloody unless he like punching and stuff like that, Whereas this guy is actually shooting like projectile batarangs, and it actually penetrates you and stuff. So that's what makes him like very violent. But he still is a good guy, He still like comes to like Commissioner Gordon. He is still there for like Harvey Bullock or like Montoya, when they're trying to solve like the crimes and stuff. He's still around to help them. But other than that, you could tell it just didn't really take off. Like the second volume, it just didn't really take off for Knightfall with me. But I kind of expected it, and I think there's like a meaning to it too. It's something I think that they're trying to express with this particular volume, like a hidden message in it to a certain extent. I guess like if Bruce Wayne wasn't around, like would there be a Batman like worthy enough to follow in Bruce Wayne's footsteps? Basically, I think that's what they're trying to say, But other than that, it really was nothing. And then like on top of that, this volume it mentioned things about it that didn't really happen. Like in here, and I don't want to spoil it, But in here it says that like it claims that Bane was still on the loose, and he wasn't. He is still locked up in I think Blackgate prison after Jean had beat him up and defeated him. At the end of volume 1 of Knightfall, they put him in Blackgate prison. Whereas in this volume, they're claiming that he is still like on the loose and Bane isn't. You don't even get to see Bane in here at all. And plus another thing I want to touch on too is like the recovery of Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce Wayne, I think he had like I think he saw him like on 2 pages if I'm not mistaken. just like a couple of pages, like in the tale. He's not in here at all. Like Bruce Wayne, you don't see him really at all. Now you see like Tim Drake as Robin, you see him a lot, and he still have like conflicts with like Jean not wanting him to be there as Robin, you know. But yeah, Bruce Wayne, you don't really get to see him at all. And then the moment you do, he's still like in the wheelchair, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly. And plus you have like Alfred, you know, he's still there too as well, like trying to help him recover. But yeah, the idea that they mentioned that Bane was still on the loose, that's not true. He's not even in volume 2 of Knightfall, which is known as Knightquest. And plus, you also have another mistake. Another mistake they made, kind of at the beginning, the intro of it, was that they called Azrael. They spelled his name wrong. They spelled it Azreal when it's actually spelled Azrael, and that was like another mistake I noticed. But I'm cool with that. I just noticing like the mistakes that they had made in here, you know. But I mean, it's like various like tales in here that deal with twin cowboys that Gene Paul has to take out. He also has like this new like bat vehicle that can like drive on like the railroad tracks, which was created by this guy known as Harold, who was in like Knightfall too. He was like this new assistant that Bruce Wayne had around that was like creating like, I think, like gadgets and stuff. He worked in the Batcave basically with Bruce Wayne and them. Like a couple of the stories were cool. They introduced some new villains too, like the Tally Man, and he kind of looks like the Violator from Spawn. You know, the clown guy. He kind of resembles him. They had like other guys too. You know, it was a bunch of them, but the main bulk of it, and this is kind of towards the end of the story, kind of like this new guy known as Avatar. I think that's how he says his name. He's like a serial killer, and there's like his story, like it lasted for like issues, and he turns out to be like the villain that's really for Gene Paul, that he's really trying to get, you know, and like lock up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He turns out to be a big part of the story, basically. But you also have tales with like Catwoman. She actually gets to confront you know, like Gene Paul. I thought that was kind of cool. You know, the Selena Kyle. Even the Joker shows up. Excuse me too, if I'm not. Yeah, at one point. Yeah, he even shows up, but he still manages to escape though. He gets away again, you know. Then you have like these spin-offs of like Clayface. They show up, you know. Like I didn't even know it was like a Clayface known as Clayface 3. And it was also like a female Clayface too as well, you know. Now, I didn't really know about them that much. Then you had this other guy known as the Corrosive Man. I thought he was kind of cool. Like this guy, he's made of like acid and stuff, and he's known as the Corrosive Man. Now to me, he was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of like a cool one. And then you also have like this backstory that's going on with Azrael, like struggling, you know, where Gene Paul is struggling with the spirits of Azrael and Saint Dumas. He's like having like this like mental breakdown, trying to decide which spirit to follow. Like it's like two different spirits trying to guide him. You have like the Saint Dumas, and then you have like Azrael. There's also like a little mocking joke of like Siska and Ebert too in there too. They look just like Gene Siska and Roger Ebert, you know, because both of them have past, you know. But they have like a little like spoof for them here, and it's around like the Joker. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Then towards the end of it, like the last like issue in there is like a Robin story. Like it's like about Robin, and that's when Bruce Wayne actually kind of returns. And then they don't really touch on how he is walking again. Like not suddenly Bruce Wayne is like walking again. And I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, you don't get no whiff of that in the tale. You know, you don't see him like walking again. You know, but suddenly now he's walking. But I guess he just recovered. You know. And plus another thing, like this Knightfall thing, it does go to volume 3, you know, so maybe like in Knightfall volume 3, which is known as Knight's End, they probably will explain what happened there, you know. But yeah, I thought this was okay, you know. I would only recommend it, especially if you're just reading like the Knightfall like storyline in general. You would have to check this out, you know. And plus, it's kind of cool getting to see this new Batman like in action, you know, Gene Paul Valley, and he does look awesome. I like how he looks, you know, like he shoots projectile batarangs. I like how he grapples around like Gotham City and stuff. He looks cool, and he also like changes his suit a lot throughout like the story too as well. I think he changed it like 3 or 4 different times because he kept coming across like super villains that like would damage him or like catch him off guard. So he had to build his armor into like another way, you know, just because he's had a previous battle with this enemy that did something that the other one never did. So he keeps like upgrading himself for the next villain, you know. But I think he's an awesome looking like hero, you know, and he was still like on the good side. You just know he just like very edgy and very violent. That's all. But yeah, this is my review for Batman Knightfall Volume 2, and this is known as Knight's Quest, or Knightquest. Okay, as you can see, this is my Batman Knightfall Volume 2, and it is known as Knightquest. And as you can see, this is it right here. And it's just like the first volume, as you can see right here. Here's the first volume that had a Bane on the cover of it, breaking Batman's back. And then you have the second volume with Jean Paul Valley as the new Batman. So they both like very thick, you know, just as you can see, this has like a very thick girth in it. Like very like thick, you know. Very thick, like thick book or collection. Now this collects the Detective Comics issue 667 to 675, and it also collects Shadow of the Bat issue 19 and 20, 24 through 28, and then Batman 501 through 508. Also Catwoman issues 6 and 7, and you have one issue of Robin, which is 7. And like just like the previous volume, this volume has over 600 pages of comics, you know, that occurred like from 1993 to 1994. And this is the second volume of the Knightfall storyline. It goes to 3 volumes, so it's like 3 volumes of this. I know that the third and last one is known as Night's End, which concludes the Knightfall saga. So I guess in the end, you know, like these two together, like this one and this one, that's like over 1,000 pages right there, and then plus it's like a third and final volume as well, you know. So yeah, this is like the Knightfall Volume 2 collection, and this is known as Knightquest. That's what it's known as, you know, as you can see. And it has Jean Paul on the cover and on the back as well as, you know, the current Batman at that point. Yeah, because I'm still amazed at, you know, how like thick and huge it is, but it collects so many issues that occur, you know, for like, you know, like over like a year, just like Volume 1 did. So yeah, that's my book for the Volume 2 of as you can see, of Knightfall, known as Knightquest. I'm sorry, but I know the third and last volume is known as Night's End. Okay, and this is JDS 4696.